Show, everybody. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly, our pro wrestling show we bring you as part of the upper tier offering. If you could hit that subscribe, bell notification button, and drop a like on the video, we would really appreciate it. Joining me again after our kind of Christmas hiatus, one half of the Sean's, Sean Mack. How are we?
Doing wonderful. How are you, Niall? Thanks so much for having me
Yeah,
on.
not too bad. I enjoyed the break. I had about 3 weeks off of podcast, and then I went away for 10 days. I was in Florida, or what wrestling fans would call Florida. And yeah, I had a good time there. And then I came home and I brought a bug home with me, and I had 2 days of absolute misery.
Good.
Lost about 3.5 kilos from various parts of my body over those 2 days. It was kind of rough. But yeah, I'm all good now. Back into it. Back into podcasting again and all that. I'm delighted to be back doing a bit of pro wrestling podcasting as well. So, as always, a pleasure. So, we have a good show tonight. We're going to be talking a recap of Raw. We're going to have a little general conversation about Netflix, how we think it's going. Of course, we have to mention two huge events on Raw as well that happened as well. One very close to our hearts, I would imagine, or maybe both very close to our hearts. We're going to have a chat about, we'll bring you the usual history and all that kind of stuff as well. We're going to have a chat about one Malachi Black. Could he soon be Alistair Black again? Who knows? We're going to have a talk about Bad Bunny putting his shoe in his mouth in relation to Backlash, doing an interview. And we're also going to have a chat about the story that's on every wrestling fan's lips at the moment, I would imagine. One Corey Graves. What's going on there?
Very, very interesting.
Very interesting. A lot of people saying it could be storyline and work. A lot of people saying it's very serious. But we'll see what happens anyway. Just before we start the show, big up Daz in the chat as always. Good man, Daz. Good to see you, my friend. And anyone else who joins us, who's listening in and potentially not in the chat. Feel free, folks, jump in the chat. We don't bite, drop in there whatever you want. If you have questions for either of us in relation to pro wrestling, let us know as well. But before we begin, I'd just like to send our kind of thoughts and prayers to the people who've been affected by the California wildfires, especially down there in LA and all those places and stuff like that. Some of the videos are absolutely horrific, real apocalyptic stuff, really, when you see some of these videos, guys cycling through these areas, and they just look like desert at this stage now. The Malibu coastline reshaped, probably never be the same again and all. And, you know, it hit me there the other day, people talking about, Arsha, don't worry about it. They're millionaires and they're actors and they're this and they're that and the other. And I was thinking that's a real foolish way of thinking about this. There's a lot of people there would have, you know, personal possessions. And, you know, I often find that a lot of a person's character is defined by their home. You can tell by their home and their stuff like that, the kind of person they are and the personal effects and stuff like that and all. Stuff that no amount of money can replace. And I'm sure no doubt people there in homes and all, hopefully they had time to evacuate pets and various things like that. And hopefully, I seen one woman the other day and she went back to her house and she found a metal box that hadn't burnt, it was scorched. And her wedding rings and all were in it. And she was so overtaken by the emotion and all and stuff like that. So our absolute thoughts and prayers go out to all those people and stuff like that, regardless of wealth or the size of your bank account. It's an absolute tragedy. So there you go. Daz in. Thoughts on Penta? Daz, we're going to get to it. You're out of the blocks. Out of the blocks. We have it ready to go. Don't worry. We've all the high spots. Bonkers is in. Big up Bonkers. Happy New Year to Bonkers as well. Haven't seen you. Didn't see you on the show the other night. Masha was in the crowd at NXT. Yeah, it's can't tell you.
She was. Only a matter of time till she's in the ring.
Yeah, it's taken off, isn't it? It is really taken off. It's a tough time for AEW at the moment, I would say. They're really struggling, I would suggest. But yeah, folks. So happy New Year to anyone who didn't see it on the Monday show. And of course, don't forget tomorrow night, Thursday Tier Talk returns. Review and preview of the Premier League action. We'll have Beat the Bookie, all the latest news, everything that's coming out from the transfers and all that kind of stuff. So join us 9 o'clock. Myself and Dazzler will be on for that. Right, Sean, let's begin. Raw this week. I really think I thought the street fight was cool. We'll kind of blaze over. We won't go line for line kind of thing. We can come in and out and stuff like that. But really coming out of this, Penta, what a debut. And I was kind of a little bit disappointed then that they put him on a mic. I was hoping that they'd keep a bit of mystique to it, kind of, you know. What was your thoughts on Penta? Phenomenal debut.
Yeah, I thought the Penta debut was really well done. I mean, Michael Cole said it was the worst kept secret in the business, and he
True.
wasn't wrong. I think like a few hours before Raw, they just announced his merch
Yeah.
with him, and they're like, yeah, they just gave up. They're like, we know what they know, so we may as well just throw it out. No, I'm really happy to see Penta over. I just wish time was a bit kinder to Ray Phoenix as well. But Penta looked absolutely fantastic. Suited the WB style, which I didn't think he would initially because he was kind of so indie-rific and spotty and flippy in AEW. I wasn't sure it was going to translate, but it has. And I think with him putting on the mic, and I get what you mean when you said that it kind of humanizes him a little bit and takes away from his mystique, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because he is going to speak at some point. And there's going to be a lot of people, because the thing with wrestling, especially with the Netflix deal, there's people watching this who are not wrestling fans. They're watching because they hear there's a big thing going on Netflix. So if he speaks a little bit, then he can connect with those people. But it's only the start from here, and I hope his run is very fruitful, and hopefully he can work his way up to using the package pile driver.
You can tell from the way he spoke on the mic and his eyes how he felt he had arrived. You know, that kind of way. You know, kind of, I could imagine if you're an up-and-coming actor and you do a couple of kind of local kind of movies or films or whatever it is, and then suddenly you get that big break into Hollywood and you do a big movie kind of thing. You could tell by him like that he was absolutely stoked to be there, you know. And I have to say as well, big shout out to Chad Gable as well. What a dance partner. Absolutely quality. But yeah, great to have him there. And I like, as you said about Ray Phoenix as well. Yeah, it's a shame he's being held hostage, as they say. Really, really unfortunate and stuff like that. No, it would have been great to have the two boys in, but happy to have Penta in there, and good to see him doing well and that he's arrived on the big stage, as we call it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's get on to Lyra Valkyrie. Let's talk about Lyra. So happy for this. We spoke about it a number of times on shows about this Intercontinental tournament. I had suggested that they might go the legacy route with Natty, but that if they didn't, I kind of felt Lyra was kind of in that mix there for it. She's well received backstage, extremely liked, but kind of a bit personal for us as well, obviously with the OTT connections. She was over in December on the OTT show. You know, how proud Fight Factory and OTT must be this week as two wrestling organizations where this girl cut her teeth, really. And especially shout out to Katie Harvey and all, and LJ and Phil and everyone who's Justy probably as well, who have, I no doubt, spent countless hours on mats with Lyra as she molded herself as a professional wrestler. So they must be so proud as well. And to be the first one as well is a huge statement from the company about how they feel about this girl and her talent. What was your thoughts?
I think, yeah, as you say, being the first, they can never take that away from her. I think a new belt, it can't be about legacy, it has to be about the future. Initially at the start anyway, so I think it was the right decision to put on Lyra Valkyria. Unfortunately, the way my Twitter is, I'm often entangled with the IWC community, with the wrestlers as the profile picture who adored Dakota Kai. So I saw a lot of people who were unhappy that Lyra won this, but I think Lyra's the perfect choice. Speaking of OTT, she had a really good match with Debbie Keitel. So she's on a roll right now, and the match was really, really good. I think I would have been happy with either of them winning, to be honest. I mean, Lyra, obviously, we know where we love her from her stuff over here, but I think Dakota Kai is great as well. But there's still a chance for Dakota Kai to win. And you were saying you wanted Natalya to win this. There's still a chance for her to win. And I hope that now with the new championship for the women and with Lyra, like a fresh, young, new head, will bring it into a new direction. But No, I think she was absolutely the right person to win this, and hopefully they can do her justice, because there's a lot of times where more belts don't necessarily equate to better quality. Rather, it equates to people getting lost in the fold and people getting kind of stuck in certain areas of purgatory on the card. I don't think that'll happen with Lyra though, but it was a great match, and I'm delighted for her because she was, a young girl in these OTT shows that I attended. Was in the National Stadium against Katie Harvey. Like, not even just before the end of the year, was in the complex in Smithfield against Debbie Keitel. So she's never forgotten her roots. I can't imagine, as you're saying about Phil Boyd and Katie Harvey and Just A. I can't imagine how they feel, because they'll probably remember her walking in as a young girl, just like anyone else, just with a dream. So the fact that she has gone from there to the new women's Intercontinental Champion in the WWE on the main roster is absolutely remarkable. So
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because it feels like it was only a short time ago that she was kind of like, remember that valet or whatever that gimmick she was doing back in OTT originally.
yeah, with Justy, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Justy and Jamie Coleman, I think it was, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
there
that
was one or
sounds
two
familiar.
others, some sort of faction or something. And it just that feels like it's just such a short time ago, even though it's a while ago now at this stage. And to see
Yeah.
her trajectory, it's a credit to her and her work rate and everything else. And that in that time she's gone from there, right up
Yeah.
there, and how the biggest organization in the world, and dare I say maybe one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world as well, holds her in such high regard, and that her trajectory through NXT and how solid that was, and then the timing of her call up. And we knew by the way they were using her and booking her as well that they were very big on this girl. And we know the Irish that go in there as well, they're always very well received. Hard workers who have come up in the right way through this business and stuff like that. Rarely let you down, rarely injured, always putting on a 5-star match. Doesn't matter whether it's a house show or a big pay-per-view. The quality level is always there and stuff like that. And I'm sure Joe and Paddy and Maxer and Karen and all these other people that worked with her in OTT as well are so very proud of her and stuff like that as well, and had a huge part to play in it and stuff like that and all. And for me, it's so interesting as well because herself and LJ used to come into me in the shop as kids. They've been great supporters of the shop. They've always come in to pick up merch off me and stuff like that and all. And, nothing but good words and positivity to say about both of them. I was so stoked when they both got engaged and everything else and all. It was so cool. It was a real moment for me to see them coming in as kids and then to get engaged, and both of them doing so well on the world stage. LJ doing this thing out in Noah and around the Indies and stuff, and Lyra's so strong in there in WWE now. It's very proud to see that as well.
Absolutely. And what a role model for young Irish wrestlers as well. Because there's a lot of them who, grew up on not grew up, but broke in under the circumstances she broke in, that are dreaming of the big time. And she's done it, Jordan's done it, Finn's done it, Sheamus has done it. So it's such a bright future for Irish wrestling as a whole, because the connections, I mean, Lyra being held in the high regard that she's in, and also the fact that OTT can still get Jordan and Finn and Lyra. Now, as we've said when we've had Sean on, part of it could be tax evasion, but the other part of it is that, yeah, I mean, and speaking of tax evasion, he's got PCO for the Rumble.
There you go, yeah.
which we'll discuss next week. I'm just buzzing for that. But it just shows that when you work hard and you put your dreams towards anything, you can achieve them. And Lyra's a testament to that. And every time I've gone up to her at a show or seen her or anything, she's always been so polite and humble. Like, she's in a really big position, and she has the right to be arrogant and kind of like, oh yeah, well, I'm the Intercontinental Champion, but she's really just an unbelievably great person with her head on her shoulders. And it's fantastic to see that someone from our small little island who was in the Tivoli Theatre and a mini boxing arena and an arts venue in Smithfield can reach such success. So really, really good moment.
And a tiny little freezer warehouse in Bray.
Yeah,
Let's not forget the real roots of this. This ain't all shiny every time, you know.
yeah, and
I've seen these boys and girls wrestle in places that the Tivoli Theatre looks like, the Marriott.
if
This is, let's
the
not
Tivoli,
forget that, you know.
The Tivoli when torn down right now
Yeah,
in rubbles doesn't beat some of those
yeah,
venues that they wrestled in
absolutely.
beforehand.
And as you said, it's a show. Like if you really want it and you're driven and you're willing to put in the hard yards and put in the hard work, you can get there. You can achieve it. You know. Big up, Chris, for Happy New Year to my friend. Absolutely, Dakota Kai. I think the problem in WWE at the moment is every time a female wrestler comes on the camera now, it's like star, star,
Yeah,
star. They're
yeah,
just not. I said it on a couple of podcasts before, the back end of 2024 as well. They are just bloated with female talent. It's unbelievable. From NXT all the way up, it's absolutely incredible. And they're all knocking it out of the park. Absolutely phenomenal. Daz was in. He wanted to get your thoughts on Punk and Seth and Drew. All very interesting stuff.
I suppose we'll get to that later on. Punk and Seth, I enjoy. I know we didn't get to do a show for Netflix last week. I know we'll talk about it in probably like less than 5 minutes or so, but I enjoyed it. I think the end was a little bit. It opened the door for more, which I'm not sure I really want, just because the Royal Rumble's coming up. John Cena's in there. I think Punk needs to move on, but I could see more matches with Seth, and I'd be fine because I think that was really. I don't know about the end game, but the first big thing that he had to do before he got injured. So we'd have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't. You'll have to update me on that, Acers, because I've had very little time, and what time I've had him half jet lag trying to settle back in and stuff like that. No, but
I watched it. It was a good show. I'd say it wasn't the strongest Wrestle Kingdom. It was all right at best. I'd say, God, what matches were on it? I think I heard that Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino, which was the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, was the longest main event in Tokyo Dome history. It was like 45 minutes. So a relatively green lad and a guy whose style is technical wrestling. It was a bit much to take in.
Yeah, 45 minutes. Zack Sabre Jr. is an absolute star, and what a wrestler he is. But a 45-minute match is for the purists, I would say.
The
purists.
That's one way to put it. And Wrestle Dynasty was a really strong card. It could just be because there's more like, I don't want to say American talent, but more talents I'm more used to seeing and getting to know. I'd say I enjoyed that a little bit more. But Wrestle Kingdom was still really, really good. I think the best match for me was probably Shingo versus Takeshita. And Naito versus Takahashi was pretty disappointing, I thought. It was just short. It's meant to do it was meant to be like a teacher mentor thing, but they're both old and past their prime. And I think the most notable thing on the show for me was after Tanahashi and Evil. Obviously, Tanahashi's on his retirement tour, so Evil and the House of Torture beat him up after the match, and a man in an AEW hoodie came out and cleared the ring, and that man turned out to be Katsuyori Shibata. His first time in New Japan since. I can't remember what the Wrestle Kingdom it was, but he's meant to have a shoot wrestling match with Ren Narita, who was his protege, and he just said, "Nah, fuck it, we'll just have a normal match." And New Japan backstage had a heart attack because that was completely off script, totally going to business for himself. So he did that, but he came out and said, "Hey, I know you're on your tired tour. If you're not too tired, do you want to have a match tomorrow?" And he said, "Yes." They had a special exhibition match with a 5-minute time limit. Obviously, no contest. They just chopped each other for a bit. And they did like mega chops for like the last 20 seconds, and that was it. But no, good card. But I didn't watch Dynasty live because it was like 4 a.m. and I struggled to get up at 7. So
yeah, the hoodie interference guy is now a signature thing everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. I don't like it anymore.
No, it's
like it does its job, but it's really
too obvious. Too obvious. Asia's in rumors that Backlash in Mexico City in May. Yeah. We were just going to get into that, but we may as well get onto it. Yeah, Backlash. Yeah,
Backlash.
Yeah.
God.
But Backlash. What's that about?
Jeez.
It's just on your spell checker.
Speaking of
Backlash,
things
Bob Bunny did an interview the other day, and he kind of put his foot in it. He had dropped the ball that Backlash would be going to Mexico City, which is quite an interesting location and stuff like that as well. And I'm sure WWE, there'd be a lot of security put on for that and stuff like that. Probably no different than when they went down to Puerto Rico as well. So, but yeah, it should be interesting. And I think Triple H came out, didn't WWE play it down, saying no decision had been made yet and all that kind of thing. But obviously, it's going to Mexico City. So, Bob Bunny spoiled it. Spoiled it, he did. So there you go.
Very, very, very bad Bunny.
Kenny Omega, AEW. Kenny Ojima, which I presume is Omega. Aces, what's the story? Aces, you've been on a few cans today or what? AEW return tonight against Brian Cage.
You're having a nightmare, Aces.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're dropping it. You're spitting out the comments too quick.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what his next comment is.
His next comment. Looking forward to watching UFC 311 on Saturday night. Yeah,
okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that main event in particular, Arman Sarukian and Islam Makhachev really intrigues me.
Dano's in. Big up, Dano. I hope you had a safe trip back. He was at Euro Disney over the weekend with the kids,
thanks,
family.
Thank you very much.
Sean's shirt. There you
know
go.
what they say, it's idols is hard rock for pussies. That's what it says on my shirt. Yeah, man, what a gig. Thanks so much.
Definitely excited for Alistair Black's return, if true. Yeah, myself and Dino go on the wrestling trips together. And we've attended a number of NXT takeovers, no less when Alistair Black was on them a couple of times. Absolutely phenomenal. Sometimes the highlight of our WrestleMania trips. So we just can't wait for that music to hit, that board to come up, and those candles to be there.
Yeah.
And he returns, and he should have never left. And that's the way it is. And hopefully Adam Cole will come around to his senses as well and come back. Who knows?
Do you realize how lucky you are now, having been able to attend those OG non-COVID black and gold takeovers?
Oh, they were unbelievable. I do have to say, isn't there a kind of I don't know if you looked at it on SmackDown and on Raw, the way it's kind of glitzy for the entrance, but then once the action starts, everything's kind of dimmed down a little bit and it's focused on the ring. There's a kind of a black and gold NXT feel to it.
Yeah, I think they kind of started doing that with Raw and SmackDown like earlier on last year, though. So, yeah, I mean, it can look like black and gold NXT in terms of lights, but it's not black and gold NXT in terms of in-ring quality. I don't think I've ever seen anything like black and gold NXT. Not in my lifetime of being a wrestling fan, and probably never again. It was such a special thing. We had no idea how lucky we were to have it until it was old Yellard.
We used to be away. We were so pumped for those. That one that we went to, I think in the Barclays, was just unbelievable. WrestleMania 35 weekend was incredible. NXT is best wrestling matches. Big up Fernando. Happy New Year to you as well. Thanks for joining us.
Black and gold NXT.
Yeah, he's surprised in the Rumble match. You reckon, Alistair Black? Yeah, there's talk he might be out of contract around end of January, early February, isn't there? So we shall see. And of course,
is that Rumble, right?
Yeah, that's the talk. So that would be cool.
He's been in Ireland a couple of times. Just saying.
Yeah, once or twice. He's on one or two posters in the shop.
Yeah,
looks a little bit different.
Tommy End, some other guy who looks vaguely like Alistair Black, but isn't actually.
Yeah, some kind of Dutch kickboxer.
Yeah, but knowing Joe, it would be announced ahead of time.
Yeah,
over half the line's been announced already.
Speaking of Rumble matches, and we didn't even mention it, Rumble 26 in Riyadh.
Oh, yeah.
I won't mention it.
I will not have to stay up, and that is great. But that is where my compliments for this start and end.
You'll probably be hiding for the whole of January, will you? Anyway, once Cena finally retires.
Yeah, I'll just be in my room crying with in my John Cena gear, listening to emo music or something.
I'll have to do up slides of you just in memory of.
Yeah, I'm seeing
stuff with tears and.
I'm seeing a trend on TikTok now, and it's who's how I'll be watching the John Cena retirement tour, and it's a picture of them as they are now, and then it says who's really watching the John Cena retirement tour, and it's a picture of them as a kid wearing. I found an old picture of myself in France when I was 4 or 5, just smiling with the red C Nation. Well, it's an armband, but for me, it's a headband from 2000 and 11, I think. It was when he was wearing the red and blue gear. Not too dissimilar to the one he's wearing now, but yeah, it's gonna be a rough year. But if he can have a few really good matches and a couple of belts under his wing, I think it could recover it. But yeah, Rumble in Saudi. There is so many other cities that deserve a Rumble more than Saudi. What about, like, I'm going to say Dublin, obviously, but London, Puerto Rico, France, Germany. Put it in America. Put it where they had that. Was it what crowd was it in Louisiana for like Raw that had Gargano and Ciampa and everything else that was like notoriously bad? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Put it there. I would take it over Saudi pissing Arabia.
Yeah,
but I won't have to stay up. But that's it. I wonder. I just hope this time they'll be able to get Yokozuna and Bobby Heenan and Mr. Fuji and Ultimate Warrior and all the greats.
Listen, it's the Netflix era now, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
But last year's Rumble shows Triple H doesn't want surprises anymore. So
that's it. Yeah. Dino's back in. Another Irish champion, WWE. Well done to Lyra. Worked her ass off to get to the top. Got to have something about you to be getting gold at WWE. Absolutely. Yeah. There we go. There we go.
Is it that? Did you see Triple H was doing the infamous pointing picture with Penta, and he was trying to do the Cero Miedo thing, and he like it looks so awkward. Yeah, it's horrendous.
He should have just done the crotch chop.
Yeah, it would have been. Would have been much better.
Yeah, hopefully WWE do Eddie Guerrero tribute Mexico City at Backlash. That would be amazing.
That'd be a nice idea, yeah.
Dare I say, would we have an unveiling of a statue? Like what they do at the Hall of Fame?
For Eddie?
Yeah.
I think they would have done. I think if that was ever going to happen, they would have done that a long time ago. I was going to say, and this came ahead, and this is horrible, but they'll probably just put it in the experience in Saudi. And they'll reveal it at the
because of course that's where it would belong, of course.
Yeah, of course. No. Lovely idea though. Really nice idea.
Show of hands, who thinks Nialish looks like a rich man's blue meanie? I think I look like a poor man's blue meanie.
Grey meanie. You look like the blue meanie from Hot Topic. You look like the blue meanie if he was in Asha. Can you do the dance?
I'll do what you want if you'll invite me.
I absolutely adore Blue Meanie beyond comprehension.
Big up, Zach. Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy New Year to you as well. Hello, everyone.
Welcome Celtics. He has a Celtics thing. When I went to Boston to see my aunt, I went to a Celtics game. Went to TD Gardens. Tremendous. Got dark side of. I think this is something we should talk about. If it's not already on your slides, we should.
No, I didn't put it on the slide out of respect, but we will talk about it, of course.
I cannot believe the neck of that crowd to boo Jimmy Hart. Yeah, absolutely. That's what Hogan's probably thinking. He's like, yeah,
Jimmy Hart shocked at the booing of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
really? Oh, you got darker side of Hollywood during booings.
I never knew, baby. I never knew.
There we go. What have you made so far? Let us know in the chat as well, folks. What have you made so far? Netflix. Obviously, the first episode was kind of like the Raw after Mania. It's like everyone was beat up and on tour, and there was lots of promos, and The Rock comes out and just takes up 2 match words and all this kind of thing. And we knew the launch it there, and the big stars would be there, and all that kind of stuff. Monday Gone felt more like a wrestling show, didn't it? 5 or 6 real good matches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
packed in, and it was really cool and stuff like that.
The first show, the debut show, was a spectacle to get people's eyes on, and the second was a wrestling show, and I hope that continues. Cody versus Cena WrestleMania. Yeah, I think as far as I know, that's the plan. It's either that or. I think they're saying it could be Gunther Cena, but I think the overwhelming general consensus is Cena's going to be wrestling for some title, whether it's the Universal or the World. Or what about he does double duty? Main events night 1 for the World title, main events night 2 for the Universal title. All the women's belts get retired and he picks them up. All the tag teams get locked at home because of something, and he takes all the tag belts.
Comes out like Austin Aries with all the belts.
he does the belt collector gimmick like Kenny Omega. I may be stretching a little bit, but man, I
I
just
tell you
they
one
better.
thing, if we're going to Vegas, so I reckon if that's the main event of 41, whatever night it is, I might have to go full Cena attire to that WrestleMania. I might wear the jorts, the whole lot. Like,
Dude,
I might even wear the pumps, the whole lot. Like,
you have to get someone has to go as like Super Cena, and someone else has to go as the Doctor Tokenomics.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I tell you, if he beats Cody for the belt at Mania.
Yeah. Or what if Cody says, I didn't get my big WrestleMania moment the first time, you're not getting it the last time?
Yeah.
It doesn't put him over. Oh my God.
There's only one story here tonight, Cody.
Yeah. Do not.
Yeah,
Oh my
that'd be
God.
cool. Question is, how do you see him getting to that? Is it a rumble? Is it a elimination chamber? Is it, what do you think?
I think Rumble, he enters number 1 and no one gets eliminated until number 30 comes out, and they just gets them all out with ease. Barely an inconvenience. No,
Yeah,
I think
just stacks them up far abreast on these attitude adjusters and just starts banging them out.
He just picks them up by their belts like a suitcase and just chucks them out.
I'm just doing what Austin did, just start eliminating them straight away and sitting on the turnbuckle looking at the watch.
Yeah. No. I think I think I heard Cena's probably more than likely going to win. But the thing is, what are they going to do with Punk? Because I know people were thinking he was going to win last year, and obviously they need to do Cody Roman again. Yeah, but Cena has to. But then the thing with Cena is, I'm not a fan of people winning the Rumble more than once, and I love Cena. But if he wins this year, that'll be 3. So that'll be tied with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I think that's. I would say 3 times too many. 2 times. I liked him winning it in 2008. I loved him winning in 2013. Now looking back, I realized it was like suicide. And I think 2025 would be great. We'll have to see though. Yeah, can you imagine? Like,
I kind of. He has to pick up a win against Solo as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think
that Solo loss.
He battered him at Mania though before Rock came out, so that was punishment enough. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Fernando very disappointed Rumble in Saudi. Yeah, I think that was kind of a lot of people's reaction anyway initially and stuff like that. I do kind of feel I would like to maybe go out there and experience a big event once, once, and just see what the whole thing is, because it always looks amazing.
Yeah. Another reason to say Punk might win the Rumble is because he's not winning the Saudi one. Yeah. Not going to either.
Niall, it's NXT Brooklyn, Pete Dunne versus Walter, Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle, Gargano versus Cole 2, out of 3 falls, War Raiders winning tag goal versus Ricochet and House of Black. My God, what a card, and what
that's all just flooding back to me now. You know, it's also a really good takeover, and I think it gets a little bit forgotten because it was in 2020, just before the pandemic, Portland. The opener was Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic. Jesus Christ, it was immense. And then after that was the street fight between Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. And I think the main event was it Ciampa and Adam Cole? And Johnny Gargano turned on Ciampa. That set up a really good feud during COVID. That sadly was not a really good feud at all.
Was that the one? Was that the one where they had that cool chair spot to the outside?
Yeah, and then and then they had the feud going into COVID. They had the empty arena cinematic match. The one thing I was kind of shocked about was, looking back now, I think the worst cinematic matches WWE did were the NXT ones. That Cole Gargano one was shocking. The Gargano Ciampa one was really bad. I didn't like the backlot brawl. Was that what it's called? The one with Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream. I thought that was it was just not great at all. But man, NXT Black and Gold, never anything like it before, nothing like it since. I don't know. Maybe old PWG, but in terms of like mainstream wrestling, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Saudi is one of the few places that would still cheer Hogan.
Yeah. And I heard people say one of the reasons he got booed was because LA is like a very democratic state. And like,
Yeah,
And also A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L.
yeah, yeah. I think the whole democratic state thing was probably way down the list. There's probably at least 9 or 10 before that, maybe
Do you
reasons.
remember Jericho with the list of 1,001 holes and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
filling
Just
out
let it
along the
roll out.
floor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why.
The list of Jericho. Yeah, this week
Yeah.
was better than last week. It was. Yeah, it was more of a wrestling show and all this
Mm.
stuff. That was really cool.
But I still think last week's show needed to be like it was, a spectacle to get people involved and get people
Yeah,
to
it was
watch.
kind of the launch. It was kind of the
Yeah.
launch. You know what I
I
mean? It was
wouldn't
kind of,
yeah. I wouldn't go back and watch it like 30 years from now, probably, but like it was really good at the time.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes they say you always remember the first one, but probably not. Maybe we always remember the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, Fernando as well. Yeah, Roman versus Punk and Cody versus Cena. Interesting.
Roman versus Punk in a normal match? I'd assume, because I don't see either of them getting the belt. So let me ask Fernando a question. What's Gunther doing? I'll leave that with him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also, Punk was kind of alluding to Cena a bit, wasn't he, the other night? He kind of
No, what,
mentioned Cena.
doing this and calling him by
Yeah,
name? No, I think he was just, yeah. I like how he has a healthy respect for him, but there's still that
yeah,
little bit of arrogance that made me absolutely fucking despise him when I was a kid. So I think when they cross paths, whether it be in the Rumble or in
yeah.
another match down the line for Cena's tour, I think that's going to be
It'll be
very
quite. It'll be quite the moment next month, isn't it? If we get a Cena Punk face off in the Rumble,
yeah,
will be
just to have
kind
them
of
face
really
off.
cool.
Yeah,
Because just with the whole pipe bomb history and everything else and all,
Mhm.
and
and they,
that like, and yeah, and like they've huge respect for each other, huge respect
yeah,
for each
I
other.
don't know if they'd play into it, but the last time they wrestled was was a Raw or two before Mania 29. That was when they did Rock and Cena 2.
Mm.
And they had that match, and Punk hit Cena with the pile driver. But Cena said, if I lose, I'll give up my WrestleMania match with The Rock. And it was probably one of the best main events of that decade of Raw. But Cena won that, so they could possibly play into that and said, like, I left after that and you won and it made me sick and I need to like make it right. And on your retirement tour, I'm going to send you home or something like that.
Do
I
you know
don't
what?
know, but I like both of those ideas.
It kind of feels like we need a Punk Rock match, don't we? With a bit of bite to it.
No.
No,
I don't know. I don't know if The Rock is going to wrestle this year at all, to be honest. And even in that tag match, he looked a bit slow and a bit plodding. And because it was a tag match, he could kind of balance the workload with Roman, so he didn't have to do it all himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think
Punk's
Punk's kind of above that now. So I don't know.
Punkers in Netflix this week. Raw felt good. It did. Christopher, I have John Cena winning the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, good man, Christopher.
Cena
Good
wins
man, Bonkers.
Bonkers.
Someone's all right. The next comment's going to be Cena wins Mania.
So maybe that plays into your theory that he wins the World Heavyweight and the Undisputed Championship. So he gets the Chamber shot through one and the Royal Rumble through the other. Cena should just win everything this year. It's his last year.
Yeah, and all the old belts should be unretired just for him to hold, just like the Winged Eagle title is with.
I tell you, I scraped over it earlier. Thank God, Fernando. Thanks for reminding us. Gunther versus Braun at WrestleMania. Tell us this. I put it in here on the slide purposely. What do you think of these two Saturday night main events coming up? Absolutely stacked. Is our boy Sheamus going to pick up a nice C belt?
No,
don't think so.
It's a house show. It's an episode of telly to watch when you're. I think the first one proved that like Saturday night's main event is just a show, and I will tell you, I've learned my lesson. If I watch this again, I will either A, watch it on something else, or B, not watch it on YouTube Live. Because I had a really bad time watching it with the ads and everything last time. And the top comment when you go on to it now is someone with the timestamps of everything. Start of Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, ad break, end of ad break, end, ad. So you can skip through it. These matches are both really good. I'd say Gunther and Jay. Gunther is that what he said about Jay on Raw was just so horrendous.
Yeah,
like horrendously. The thing with Gunther is he's not like a dick. He's just really straightforward and brutally honest with you.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I'm going to show you what you are, a very good tag team wrestler. In any other context, that would be good. But the
yeah,
context of a singles match, that is
yeah.
terrible.
Not when
Yeah,
you're now main event Jey Uso or
yeah.
Saturday night's main event Jey Uso. You know,
Oh,
um,
that's actually really, really, that should be his thing. Saturday night's main event, Jey Uso.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Braun and Sheamus will be absolutely fantastic. I would love Sheamus to get the IC title at some stage, but he's had a lot of chances. Braun Breaker's beaten him, Ludwig Kaiser, and him and Ludwig Kaiser, and a bunch of other people a few times now. So I don't see it going any other way. But then Fernando said Gunther and Braun Breaker. He's the Intercontinental Champion. So do they have Sheamus beat Braun Breaker, win the IC title, and have Braun Breaker go on to face Gunther for the world title? And then in that regard, if Sheamus has the Intercontinental title, what do you do with him? Dragunov, maybe, if he's back in time?
I don't
Or
know. I just think it'd be really cool to have two Irish wrestlers in there, both carrying the IC belts. I
Grand
think
Slam, Grand Slam
yeah,
Shamo.
and
Yeah,
Grand Slam Shamo, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool.
that'd
Absolutely.
be all my hopes and dreams. With just second to Cena winning everything, but yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, we kind of touched on this, but we didn't go into a lot of detail. There's been an interesting reaction to this, Alistair Black, obviously, and stuff like that. And kind of, we've seen it on AEW as well, little kind of innuendos about kind of you won't be missed kind of thing, and how the House of Black needs to move on now, and, all this kind of thing. You know, the way they hit you on the way out sometimes.
Yeah,
Um, what do you think? WWE bound? We're going to get Alistair Black back. He's realised that there's a big hole in the bow of this ship. Maybe.
I think so. I think a lot of the initial innocence with AEW is gone from how they, the way like we looked at them as like a little darling, great alternative with everything that happened with Punk, and now more recently the stuff that's happening at Ray Phoenix. And the thing with Malachi Black or Aleister Black, he is so unbelievably talented. He can fit in any promotion at any time, but I'm not sure in the current landscape of WWE, outside of maybe the White Six, which I don't really want to see him get involved with.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they would go if they had him. I would hope that his direction would be a bit better. Like, do you remember he was having that really just average feud with Bobby Lashley? And they had a match at WrestleMania, COVID WrestleMania, that is.
Yeah.
So I really hope if he does come back, which I'd assume he would, because he always had a great relationship with Triple H. And being in WWE now that Vince is gone, from what I can tell from the wrestlers, doesn't seem like a death sentence. It's not like, God, alternative that it wanted to go to isn't good, so I'm going to have to go all the way back. Like the Smiths song, Back to the Old House. Was feeling, I'm feeling that it's not as bad. It's not a death sentence. The atmosphere is much better. The creativity and everything is so much more. So I would hope maybe. Would I love to see him? Yeah. Would I love to see him if they don't really have a plan for him? No. Would I like to see him in the Rumble? Yeah. The WWE Rumble? I don't know. The Loco Rumble? Yeah. Do I want him to be announced for it? No. Yeah, just take no stress. Over half the lineup is being announced. Stop announcing people, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marty, yeah.
I think it's just sheer excitement, isn't it? Really, probably kind of spills it over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And plus, I suppose there's a fear that when a certain amount of people know, someone's going to tell someone who tells someone who tells someone, and then it's kind of we were the people to break the news.
Yeah. And also, they have to announce names so people buy tickets. If I tell you, do you want to go? There's a Rumble. Who's in it? I don't know. You're going to be like, I don't know. Then if I tell you all these people are in it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, let's go. And the surprises will be great, assuming they get Angus McAnally again. They had him last year. But no, I would love to see Alistair, not Malachi, Alistair Black come back. And I think having Zelina Vega there, I think I saw someone say it, would probably influence him a little bit because they'd be. Oh yeah, there you go. Thanks, Fernando. I think having Zelina Vega there would help him make decisions, and she can probably testify that it's a much better place. So hopefully, but we'll have to see how the cards will fall.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see Bailey versus Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania 41. Interesting.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
But would they? They wouldn't call her up on the main roster that soon, would they? She'd probably be in the Rumble. She was in it last year, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Certainly, it's one I'd want to see, though. That's for sure.
Speaking of the Rumble, just one thing before we move on. I think SummerSlam should not be 2 nights. The Rumble should be 2 nights. One night, it's main evented by the Women's Rumble. Next night, main evented by the Men's.
Well, I think naturally it's all going to go that way anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's so much more. It's easier to consume because after one Rumble, I'm kind of spent. I'm kind of tired and having fun. I don't really want to sit through another one combined with undercard matches. So I think if they did Mania 2 nights and the Rumble 2 nights, and I could just be saying this because I was really disappointed with this year, but Survivor Series, one main event is the traditional 10-man tag, and the next one is War Games. Or something like that. I don't know. But I think the Rumble could be great if it was 2 nights a year.
I think they need it for all the big ones, to be honest, because I mean you could probably make the argument even for Money in the Bank, you know what I mean, as well, like, you know, because it's just they've so much talent now. You know what I mean? And to expect to satisfy, you know, the fans with that amount of talent on a single night situation is really, really tough, I think. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that'd be something worth looking into. I could see it happening though. But Bailey and Roxanne, I think would be a great match. Idea for show.
Realistic dream WrestleMania cards.
I really like that idea. John Cena versus John Cena defending blank against John Cena. John Cena defending. I'd just be like that episode of I think it's South Park, where they get Osimo, which is Eric, to generate the ideas for the movies, and all of them is Adam Sandler is blank. So for me, it'd be John Cena versus John Cena versus. That'd be a really good. That should happen. I really think that'd be a lot of fun.
That's something we should do, absolutely. And the way he puts in the realistic there as well makes it really kind of like, Okay. I don't know. I think from a timely point of view at the moment, probably Michaels versus Hogan again would be kind of cool.
I mean, Saudi's round the corner, so
yeah. At this time, don't sell as crazy for him. Just super kick the mush off him.
Yeah, I'd rather none of them fall on the mat ever again, or do
Charlotte
anything.
Tiffany for WrestleMania 41, folks. I don't know if you've seen a picture today of Charlotte Flair. I think she's taken weight loss to another dimension.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I seen a picture of her today now, and like I'm a Charlotte Flair fan. But she looks aged. You know when you go really extreme weight loss, and you kind of like, you know, like a runner's face and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a distance runner's face and all that. Like, it just sometimes they just push it too far, I think, you know. And I think especially as wrestlers and performers as well, leave a little bit of meat on the bone. Give yourself a little bit of protection.
I think
don't know if anyone's seen the picture, but it was it's rough.
She comes back with a new nose every time she leaves. I will say I'm not a fan of Charlotte at all. I think WrestleMania Charlotte is great. Every other Charlotte is. So I don't know about Charlotte coming back, but I think that would be, if Charlotte's motivated, I think that would be a really, really good match. As long as there's not a title on the line. Charlotte doesn't win, I think that would be fine.
Yeah. I don't want Charlotte winning Rumble. Let her win the Chamber.
No. Don't let her win anything. Don't let her win the Rumble or the Chamber. She's had enough.
We spoke about this already as well, didn't we? Like, with them being so stacked at the moment. If Charlotte comes back and Becky comes back, where do they kind of fit into the mix? You know, you look at Bailey at the moment, who's, you know, that cog of that wheel, and how hard she's had to work to maintain position and fit in and twist and turn and you know, with such talent in there and stuff, you know.
I know a lot of people miss Becky and Charlotte, but I think people need to understand, I'd say it more in Charlotte's case, if they weren't gone, Tiffany wouldn't be women's champion, we wouldn't have kind of fresh new faces.
Yeah.
Because more people are getting the opportunity, and Charlotte and Becky are great, but there's times where it feels like, and especially with Charlotte here, that when they have belts on them, it's because they ran out of ideas, because they're just going back to what works.
Yeah,
and what works.
You have the whole evolution of Liv and Rhea and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Rhea versus Bianca at WrestleMania. Wouldn't be upset at that. Wouldn't be upset at that at all.
No, they didn't have a match. I was thinking, did they have a match last year? I'm thinking of Bianca and Asuka. That would be a really, really good match. Charlotte's going to win the Rumble at Challenge. Please, please, God. Look, I am already in a state of total despair and devastation that my childhood hero, who I've been watching since I was, I don't know, fresh out of the womb, is retiring this year. So there's that. I have that on my shoulders, and now you're saying Charlotte's going to win the Women's Rumble and win it twice. So she's going to be the only person to win 2 Rumbles for the women. Please don't.
Yeah, well, that's kind of expected, Aces, isn't it? Because you've literally got an hour of each Rumble match, and then you've kind of an hour left then for 2 half-hour matches or something like that. So,
and honest to God, I think the Rumble should have as little undercard filler as possible. And Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens is not filler, but people are there for the Rumble. You don't want to tire out the crowd. You don't want to do any of that. So if it goes maybe a little more beyond 4, or it stays at 4, I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I know people complain Triple H shows can be a little too short in terms of match quality.
Yeah,
I think it's just because of TakeOver, but I think Rumble is one of those where it would work in its favor.
Yeah, and it's very hard to position it as well on the card as well, because if you go before the Rumble match, everyone's waiting for the Rumble match, and if you go after the Rumble match, no one really cares.
Yeah,
you're kind of exhausted. So
it's a tough way to frame it. I think so.
Yeah. You'd nearly be better off going 3 hours and go an hour and a half each Rumble match and just have the 2 Rumble matches.
Yeah.
I think Roxanne Perez will cost Bayley the title match against Tiffany Stratton this Friday on SmackDown. Interesting.
Is there rumors that we're getting called up? I might be a bit out of the loop on this, but is there rumors that Roxanne's going to get called up for the Rumble, or is it just fancy book?
Yeah.
Is it just in your head?
Not too sure. It's interesting. Jordan has gone down to the Rumble and go far, almost win, but is eliminated by Nia Jackson. Sets up a WrestleMania match against the 2. Interesting.
Yeah. Do you think there could
be a lot of women's matches here for WrestleMania, folks?
Yeah. Do you think you could see anyone from TNA showing up for the Rumble, men or women?
Yeah. I mean, you'd expect to. Who would be the likely one? Jordan Grace?
Yeah, she was there last year, though, so I'm not sure if they'd. I will tell you, though, Moose and PCO and Eric Young and Axel Tischer are off the table, I'm afraid. So if you like any of them, you can forget about it. But yeah, I don't know. I would like a surprise, though. I really, and Jordan Grace was surprised, but the part that makes Rumble so much fun for me is the surprises. And it seemed like, especially for the men, there's none of that last year. Yeah. So I would love if they did something like that. But Jordan would be great. I mean, we were talking about Masha Slamovich was at NXT a while ago. That would be really cool. Rosemary or Danny Luna or anyone really. Maybe the odd legend or.
And we're gonna have to try and figure out the spots as well, aren't we? Because obviously Kofi normally does a spot, but he's kind of going through this New Day. Everyone hates me hiatus kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously Ricochet's gone to AEW. So that takes him out of the...
He's turned into a right little gobshite, hasn't he, Ricochet?
Yeah, he's become the little schoolyard pest, really, hasn't he? The move and the reasons for the move have not delivered at all. Let's say.
You don't think? I think it's fun kind of booing him because he doesn't have much charisma anyway, so we can kind of lean into that.
Yeah, I think the paycheck is good, but I think the dream that was presented hasn't happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to get out of here and get creative control and become the star I am.
Said no one.
How's that going for you? How's that going for you?
It's getting booed. Getting booed and getting arrested in Japan. So what else can you want?
Yeah, absolutely. Lyra versus Becky for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
I really enjoyed the first match, so maybe.
Very good, yeah.
And I think Becky, if they're going to bring her back, which they will, putting her in the world title picture like Charlotte isn't a good idea. Intercontinental title, because it's the middle of the road, and it gives Becky a chance to work with younger talent, younger, fresher talent, so
Yeah,
they can become stars. So I think that's a really good idea.
yeah. Fernando, I presume you meant IC Women's Championship.
You're
Absolutely.
worse than Acers with these spellings.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Is it the purple? Is it the purple icon? Is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
kiss of death. Is it?
It's
We never
definitely-
see a women. We never see a women win a Royal Rumble twice.
Charlotte Flair would attest to that, I think.
Yeah.
And again, I hope not, but you know.
Can't wait for Kevin Owens RKO off the ladder.
No, I want a package pile driver off the ladder.
Yeah.
He has to be really sick.
He's become another disgruntled employee, hasn't he?
Yeah.
There's a show for us. Joe Hendry.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised he wasn't in there last year. But I know he did most of NXT work like later on.
Rumor has it he was flyering the car park and missed the match.
I can see that. Absolutely. My God.
Roxanne NXT time is finished.
Oh, okay. So maybe then, but would they have her cost Bailey right away, or would they like bring her in just as she is? Because I don't know if the Bailey thing needs to happen. A match with them obviously should be great, but like her coming in and costing Bailey right away, I don't know.
Might be a setup for a chamber situation or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Possibly. Jordan Grace will be on WWE February.
In the Rumble.
There we go. Alexa Bliss's Rumble match surprise.
Alexis Bliss.
Alexis Bliss.
Yeah. I will say, if she's doing spooky stuff, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But if she's the goddess again, and I didn't really like the goddess, but compared to the Fiend stuff, it's like phenomenal. So if she comes back, just let her be normal. But I'd be interested in that. Trevor at World's End. Acers. He uses government name. Her lawyers. Jesus.
Joe Hendry and Josh Alexander make surprise Rumble appearance.
Josh Alexander would be insane.
Yeah, it would be a show.
My God. That'd be so good.
Be a show.
I'd actually rather see him than Joe Hendry, honestly. That's just me.
I'm hoping Naomi joining Io Sky to win the Women's Rumble.
You do know only one person can win the Women's Rumble, right?
There is picks. There is final three.
Yeah. I'd say I'd say maybe Io Sky would be the one most likely out of those three. But she had her title match with Bailey last year, so I don't know if they would do that again. But Naomi would be cool. Jordan Grace, if she's staying around, would be really good. I'm not sure what the situation is there, but those are good picks. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the chances that Brock Lesnar appearing at the Rumble?
There's more chance of me coming on the podcast next week with a shaved head, with my hair from here than Brock showing up. I think people just
imagine they announced them and you'd have to show up with your head shaved.
I might take that back because both times CM Punk came back, I told my brother he's not coming back. Grow up, but if he does, he'll get you whatever shirt you want. And then the next morning, he's like, "Hey, Sean, can you get me this and the soft cotton things?" So, you can
imagine Brock coming out with the shirt on, the next big thing.
Yeah. The thing is, I loved Brock, but I think if what's being alleged is true, absolutely, there's no way he should come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is Obafemi, absolutely.
Only mattered. We were talking about Roxanne getting called up. It's only a matter of time till he's called up.
Yeah. Christopher, I need Alexa Bliss back.
Yeah, Goddess, Alexa Bliss. No one else. Anyone but Goddess. Forget about it.
Charlotte and Cena win the Rumble matches.
Or Cena wins the men's match that opens and then interferes in the women's match, which main events, and wins that as well.
Yeah, Cena eliminates Charlotte.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'd be happier than when I graduated college.
And then shouts out to the camera, "Rick, I'm going to Mania to win 17."
My God.
Dry your daughter's tears. Newcastle 1-0 up against Wolves. Random football comment of the show.
Good to know. There could be someone missing the match to watch this.
I would like to see Io Sky win the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
She only had a title like last year though, so I'm not sure. So, but I think she'd be good.
There's a shout. Matt Cardona in the rumble.
Wow. Yeah, Jesus. I think he'd get the pop that he's saying he'd get.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Think
But
he would.
I don't see it though. But that'd be
Yeah,
class.
that would be cool.
Mm.
Just hear that. Oh, radio.
Dio. Oh my god, starts with that.
There we
I
go.
love one of my favorite teams of all time, legit. That
Yeah.
and the remix that he got of it in his last few years
Yeah.
were just so good.
The
So
internet champion.
yeah.
So
God.
good.
I will say about Cena, I do hate the fact that Zack Ryder got over on his own back and then Cena came in, kissed his girlfriend multiple times in front of him while he was in a wheelchair, and then it's like, why does Zack Ryder hate me? Why does everyone hate me? Yeah. The Internet Championship. So good. I miss it.
Let's have a quick chat then about Corey Graves. What you're thinking on this? This was the tweet. Not happy at all being demoted off the show down to NXT, if you would call it a demotion. We've seen plenty of wrestlers go back down there, reinvent themselves, and come back up as big stars.
Yeah, he was in NXT himself, so I don't know why you'd see it as. But now, one thing I hope, and I'm not sure because I don't really know how to feel about this, but this is him hyping up an in-ring return. If he came out at the Rumble, I think that would be fantastic. It'd be up there with Nigel McGuinness coming in Hammerstein and in Wembley. Now, not on the same scale, obviously, but a commentator who had his career taken away too soon, able to come back and get that pop would be great. But then part of me thinks this could be legit, because if you're like doing SmackDown and then you're on NXT, which by technically is the development show, that can be really, really insulting. But I don't know.
Bad to work. Well, he was supposed to air his grievances, wasn't he, yesterday or something like that? And he headed off home. He took his ball and he went home.
Absolutely.
If he comes out of the Royal Rumble, he should come out and wrestle in the suit with a headset on him and everything.
Yeah, and if he still has the tattoos, stay dead. I think that would be. But then you say it's a work case. It's being talked about. We're talking about now, so obviously it's working. If that's the case, but I'm interested to see where it goes. But I do really like Corey Graves as a commentator, so I would hope this isn't his way out of the company. But we'll have to see. Likely to show up in the Rumble, AJ Lee or Matt. I'd say Matt Cardona, because AJ Lee's retired and Matt Cardona is not retired. Yeah. But I think AJ Lee in the women's would be unbelievable, would it? Imagine Cora Jade and AJ Lee or something like that. Or
that would be a moment, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. You can imagine Punk proud as punching the gorilla position.
Yeah, God. I liked AJ Lee a lot. Well, that too, but he's not going to put that on Twitter, is he?
In fairness, Aces, I'd say he went home and Carmella bangs him.
Yeah, he just has it in like small brackets at the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. Smiley emoji. There we go. Right, let's take a little bit of history. This could be a tough one for you because there's a couple of casualties, as they say, this week.
Oh, come on, really?
You know, in more ways than one.
What a way to ring in the year.
That's it. We'll kick it off anyway. 1993 WCW Clash of Champions 22 took place in Milwaukee. This was the last event for Jim Ross in WCW as a commentator before he joined the WWF in March. Thought I'd put that in there.
Okay, that's not too bad. I know it's going to go downhill though, really quickly.
No, it kind of rises a little bit. It's not too bad. The Ultimate Warrior this week was announced as the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2014.
Wow.
The absolute planet shook when this was announced.
I remember that. And I know he was an arsehole as a person, but I think he tried at least to make amends with people that weekend. And then he came out on Raw and died the next night.
Pop that out,
I don't care why he did. That's tragic.
Booker T versus Corey Graves.
Booker T, did you see he beat I can't remember his name, but he beat someone at an indie, and he's like
he looks the part, doesn't he, Booker? He still looks the part.
58 and he's jacked and stacked and everything. So
they need to do like a scientific experiment on him and R-Truth and figure out Like, how do they make? How do they do this? What's in it?
Well, we're the same age as me because John Cena was a childhood hero.
There you
John
go.
Cena's been wrestling like what 20 years, something like that. So he's not even 30 yet. So
Yeah, barbershop this month anniversary as well. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good stuff this month. Chris was in, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, and AJ Lee in the Women's Royal Rumble together.
that would be a moment now.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Who eliminates her?
2014, Mae Young passed away from natural causes at the age of 90.
She did give birth to a hand, so I can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, 2019. This is one that I always like. I get so disappointed in Bobby Lashley's career trajectory. But Bobby Lashley defeated Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship on WWE Raw from Memphis back in 2019 this week. I just think Bobby Lashley to me should have been an absolute mega star. Just for one reason or not, this didn't happen, and it's just so disappointing.
Yeah. I think he kind of got close to it in like 2021, 2022, but there was something just holding him away.
He just loses that connection, doesn't he? It's the connection that he doesn't have. Physical specimen, really good at wrestling, looks the part. That Hurt Business should be a great gimmick.
That carried the Thunderdome. Honest to God, absolutely.
No kidding. 1989, people will argue about this, of course, but the first ever Royal Rumble pay-per-view took place in Houston, Texas. In the main event, Big John Studd won the 30-man Rumble match.
That's right.
But of course, some people would argue that it was 88 and it was Hacksaw, but never.
No.
Let's not go there. 2017, WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Superfly Snuka passed away, surrounded by family and friends in Pompano Beach, Florida. 2020, Rocky Johnson, father of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, passed away at the age of 75. He was a cultural inspiration and a barrier breaker to many in the world of wrestling, and amongst many of this NWA titles, he was the first Black Georgian heavyweight champion. Iconic. If you look over my shoulder, this side, I picked up the 3-pack in America, the Generations.
Oh, so yeah.
It's The Rock, it's Rocky Johnson, and it's the High Chief Peter Maivia, all in one box, and it's really cool. And not only that, it was in a clearance aisle, so I did really well.
Wow.
1992, Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton defeated Dusty Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat to win the WCW World Tag Team Championships in Jacksonville, Florida. I don't even like mentioning Jacksonville now since AEW.
No, just because of... It's a shame because they're all great guys. Bobby Eaton especially was...
Yeah, absolutely.
The late Bobby Eaton, he only passed away like a year or two ago, I think, didn't he?
That's right, yeah, a short time ago, yeah. 1999, just for you, Taz retained the ECW World Heavyweight Championship against Chris Candido, R.I.P. Chris Candido, what a wrestler.
Yeah, now we're talking.
And then Shane Douglas at ECW House Party in Philadelphia. I put that one in there for you because I knew I was trolling you through some of the debt.
Yeah.
Just to reel you back in. 2009, Hardcore Holly was released from WWE after 16 years stint with the company.
Good. Let him rock.
And speaking of that, but I put it in a different context this time, two legends. 2000, Test defeated the Big Boss Man for the WWF Hardcore title on WWE Raw from New Haven, Connecticut. Where else? Notable birthdays. Mason Ryan, 1982, celebrates his birthday this week. Shad Gaspar, 1981. We remember you.
I absolutely loved Crime Time. I was watching some of their... Do you remember their old vignettes and they're coming to Raw?
Yeah.
They had the guy on the phone. Looks like Homeboy got lost on the way to Banana Republic. And he's like, well, good news for him is there's something black, tall, and skinny behind him. But this ain't no whiskey latte. This is Crime Time. Yeah. God, so good. I miss him so much.
The man renowned for drop kicking babies, and it wasn't his fault. Snitsky, 1970, celebrates his birthday this week. Matt Riddle, 1986. Ernest the Cat Miller, 1964.
Start the wrestler.
The man who made 2x4s famous, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, 1954. The beautiful Kelly Kelly, 1987. Shane McMahon, Coast to Coast, 1970. Mark Briscoe, 1985. And we rounded out with Dexter Loomis, 1984.
Oh.
They're your notable birthdays for this week.
It was nice. It was nice of you to acknowledge Shane's birthday, because I remember Vince McMahon, when he still used Twitter, would put out a big thing like, a superstar, an icon, and a great friend. Happy birthday, John Cena, Undertaker, whatever. And then when it was Shane's, happy birthday, Shane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1 Million Man should have won that Rumble. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Mae Young would be 101 years old.
God. And she's
still looking for Bubba Ray to put her through a table.
Yeah. I would argue she's always looked 101 years old.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, when they go back and look at it and they show pictures of her when she was young and stuff like that, and you think, did she really look like that back then? You know, because we were so used to what we see.
I know we laugh about it. We laugh about it, but there's a hand without a mother now. So
yeah, there's an orphaned hand.
Yeah. How old would the hand be? What year did that happen?
I don't know. Was it 99 or something? Was it that?
Yeah.
Was it around that time?
I think so.
I don't know. We'll have to dig out a notable birthday for the hand.
Yeah.
One of the shows.
Try remember to do that next week. That'd be great.
Yeah. Surely Mark Henry at this stage is paying maintenance somewhere.
Yeah. hand support payments.
Yeah. There you go. Cactus Jack return in January 2000.
God, I can't believe that was in there. That wasn't in there, I should say. That was that was so good. And Cactus Jack and Randy Orton, I'd say, is probably the best hardcore match WWE have ever done.
There you go.
Backlash 2004. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, listen, brilliant show as always. Next week we're going to be back, folks. Not sure whether it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it is. We'll sort out. We'll get the other Sean on as well. We'll be doing our usual wrestling stuff, but we'll also have a preview for the Loco Rumble OTT coming up early February, isn't it?
Yeah, 1st February, same night as the, I would say, real Rumble. But the Royal Rumble is having their Rumble the same night as the real Rumble in the National Stadium.
Bonkers. Any Wyatt in the Rumble, or would you not?
No, I know. I think the mistake they made in 2022 was they padded out the numbers with tag teams and stables. So I don't know if because you can't just have one member of the White Six in there.
And the problem is, what's the dynamic if you put a few of them in?
Yeah. It's like six spots that could have gone to other people.
Yeah. Although those country boys do like a punch up against each other.
They do. I can tell you.
Cora J turned 24 yesterday. There you go.
We missed it. We were too focused on Mae
She
Young.
didn't make the list, unfortunately. She should have. Didn't make the list. Listen, if I put everyone's birthday down for the week, we'd be here for all night just doing birthdays.
Absolutely. So no way.
Yeah. Notable birthday. She will get her turn, don't worry. Saturday night main event preview. Yeah, we'll be looking at that as well and everything else. And we get updates on Corey Graves and as we push on towards the Rumble and everything else. So, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video. An absolute pleasure. As I said, Happy New Year to all you guys. First wrestling show of the year. Glad to be back. Glad that you guys were all in here tuning in as well. Big shout out to anyone new in the chat as well. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. It's kind of interactive. You now get a feel for it and stuff like that. And you want to ask because it's all cool, nothing off the table. And Sean, appreciate you joining me again as always. We will talk again real soon.
And thank you so much for inviting me on. I was in the last Pro Wrestling Weekly of the year, and now I'm on the first, and I can't wait to come back next week. But it's always a privilege and a pleasure just to hang out for an hour, talk about wrestling, have a laugh.
This keeps on going. You'll be getting a podcast slammy or something at this rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully next time I will be joined by Sean too. I forgot to tell you, you're not going to believe the reason why he's not here.
Oh, go on.
So I said, hey, just to let you know, Niall's invited me and you on the podcast tonight at 7 if you're around. And he says, I can't make it. I'm going to the pub.
Roxanne Perez won't be 24. Well, he could have done it from the pub. That's okay.
Yeah, she's of age. She can get a cider.
Yeah, it's all good.
Probably down there with John Mitch in the podcast. But no, hopefully we will have him by next week, where we will preview a very good looking OTT show. And if it's even 10% as good as the first one, it could be one of the best OTT shows ever. So a lot to look forward to. Thank you so much, Niall, as always, for having me on, and I'll see the rest of you same time next week.
Cheers. Until next time, folks. Have a safe week.
Thank you. I'm going to keep waving till it's over.